Well, happy Saturday, everybody. I am very glad to be back. I want to thank everybody who sent me a little message, just of encouragement, thanking me for the videos that I've been able to contribute. I'm very thankful that the Lord really works through me. Just so you know, I was just taking some time off as I needed to focus in on my two parishes in school within the city of Detroit. So that's about it. Nothing too major. Just thank you for your great words of encouragement. And so we're back. I want to dive right back into today's scripture. And providentially, I don't think that when they were putting the lectionary together, they knew, okay, we're going to put this lectionary, the Old Testament reading with this gospel. I think sometimes it's just God's providence puts things together. God has a providential care for his people. God has a providential care for you as an individual. God has a providential care for his church, even in the midst of sometimes great suffering. And today, you couldn't have a better, two better scripture passages than from Genesis. We hear when sin first entered the world, you have Adam who blames Eve. He says, well, she made me eat that fruit. And then God goes to Eve and says, hey, Eve, what's up? And then Eve says, well, the serpent made me do it. And so they're both saying, Adam and Eve are saying, it went this way, right? And that's what we do when we sin. We want to blame others. We want to blame society. We want to blame our family. We want to blame our friends. We want to blame our pastor. We want to blame the bishop. We want to blame the pope and all these things, except for the free will that we've been given to say yes or no to sin, to say do good or do evil, right? God has given us a free will to say yes to doing good. And when we sin, it is on our own fault because God gave us that free will. And so we can't blame this person, that person. We have to look inwardly, and that's the reason why we go to the sacrament of confession. And what a scripture verse in the gospel today. I love this verse where Jesus is having pity on the people. He sees their desire for food, their desire to hear his words of life, and he says he has pity on them because he saw their condition, their human condition. Saint Bernard of Clairvaux talks about that, the human condition, God having mercy upon his creation, looking at them, cast down, loving them. I love Pope Francis's motto. It's miserando et eligendo. He was having mercy, and at the same time, he was electing them. Right? And so Jesus does the reverse. He says, Adam, Eve, guys, stop blaming each other. Stop blaming even yourselves and let me assume the sin, and I will die out of love for you so that you can be free. And that's our redemption. And so, oh happy fault. Oh happy fault, as the Exultet says at the Easter Vigil, that we have fallen because what we've been given has been so great, so beautiful, that it wipes everything else away. And that's God's only Son. And we having the capacity to receive and to abide and to be with him, and that he becomes our very own brother, and he becomes our very own brother. We become his brothers and sisters. That's the great, oh, happy fault. So in a way, it's like, oh my gosh, had Adam and Eve not done that, we would have not received the divine life, the Son of God, Jesus himself, the Messiah. But his first look is that having mercy having mercy on his people and feeding them. And that's the second step. You see, it doesn't stop there. That's why this beauty, and I'm sorry if I'm going too long, that's why this beauty of redemption it's so extraordinary. It's so out of this world that it's not just having mercy and loving, but it's also feeding, physically feeding, spiritually feeding his people. And then there's a third response, everybody. The third response is that we, therefore, having received his love and mercy, after having blamed everybody for our own sins, except for ourselves, and that Jesus saying, no, I'll take them myself, having assumed those, having received his grace and his mercy and entered into the divine life via our baptism, via the grace that he has given us, we have a response, and that is to be like unto him to others. And so our only look towards the world, towards humanity, towards the human condition, towards our very selves, is to be merciful. Peace.